hours of the regular show on terrestrial radio, and you wanted a little bit more, so that's why you found the Gun Talk After Show podcast, where we saved all the best things that we can't say on regular radio. Now here's Tom, Michelle, and Jim for the Gun Talk After Show.
All right, it's the after show because, well, I'm Tom Gresham, and we've already done the show. So this is, I guess, the part that comes next.
It could be the pre-show for next week.
Ooh, yes, wow. Right. We're not late. We're just very, very early.
It's all perspective.
We need a really good cliffhanger.
Where's Cliff when you need him?
Yeah.
All right, we got Jim Kinsey. We got Michelle Cleland. Hello, guys.
Hello.
Howdy. Hello.
I'm sitting here watching the dolphins go by, and down here on the Gulf of Mexico. Kind of a fun deal.
I hope they have a better season next fall.
Not those dolphins.
Oh, the other dolphin. Never mind.
Never mind. Yes, these are flippers. Think of flipper.
The cute little squeaky ones. Yes.
That's right. And then it always confuses people when you say, I'm going to go out and catch a dolphin. They go, what? Because there's a fish called a dolphin also.
Right.
That is not the bottlenose dolphin mammal. So. And they're, by the way, delicious.
Yes, they are. Dolphin steaks. Or I've also heard them called dolphin. People call them dolphin. Probably to differentiate, I'm guessing. But yes, I've heard it pronounced dolphin.
Oh, my God.
Probably some people say, oh, you mean dolphin? No.
Yeah. No, that's like the marketing people decided they would sell the Louisiana nutria and market them as swamp rabbit.
Right.
It's a 25-pound rat. Yeah, we're going to sell the meat and sell it as swamp rabbit. Okay. That did not work.
Wonder why.
Can't imagine why. Just a little image problem.
It'd be a great band name, though, wouldn't it? Swamp Rabbits.
The Swamp Rabbits. Oh, okay. All right. Let's get some calls in here because we've got some folks who have called in, and they've been patiently waiting. James is with us out of Bandon, Oregon, where I think there's a friend of mine playing golf over there right now. Hey, James.
How you doing?
I'm good. How's the weather in Bandon on the coastline?
Well, it finally stopped raining, and it's a little breezy out here.
Give it a minute.
Yeah.
But it's nice.
All right. So what's up?
Well, instead of saying it's a right, we say, since when did a good guy without a gun stop a bad guy with a gun from killing people? You got to arm yourself.
Yeah. One of the things that I said when I was speaking to the legislature was, when you call 911, you're just calling and asking someone to bring a gun.
That's right.
So why should we wait? Because the idea there was to allow teachers who have training to have guns in class. I said, why should we wait for somebody to drive across town to bring a gun when somebody could have a gun there? Of course, they weren't buying any of it, but I was pitching. They just weren't catching me.
Yeah, I've met people who absolutely have a phobia about guns. They don't want to. They don't like them. They don't like the people who own them. They don't want to get anywhere near one because they think the gun's going to hurt them.
Well, that's what they hear in the media, right? I mean, that's what's portrayed over and over again.
Yeah. I wish Tom would come on the air first thing and each Sunday and tell some of the stories about where the good guy with a gun stopped the bad guy with a gun, because I don't know any of those websites that have that information.
Okay, I could do that. We could start doing that on the air. I actually kind of like the idea. Let's have 2 or 3 good defensive gun use stories a week.
Yeah, that'd be perfect.
Are you a member of the NRA by chance?
No, I'm not.
Oh, there's a good source to some of those feel-good stories.
Okay.
Let me ask you, why aren't you a member?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. I don't want to. I guess I don't want to get on somebody's database.
You're already
there.
Do you
own a gun? Do you own a gun?
Yeah.
You're on a database.
Yeah.
Do you have a car? You're on a database. Do you pay taxes? You're on a database. This is the good kind of database to be on. This is the gun rights, the pro-gun guys. This is the good guys database. Man, we need you. We need you to join.
I wish I had a car.
We need every gun owner to be an NRA member.
Well, and this is
right.
the same thing when we were talking live on the radio show when you were, Tom, because we were not. But
we're not allowed on the show.
No, we're not. But when you talk about numbers and the visualization, I mean, anytime we can add one more person to the list is a good thing when you're going to court or, up on the Hill for any kind of legislative activity.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, it's that old deal. If the NRA has 5 million members now, if they had 10 million, they would simply be listened to more. They would be more effective. You got to belong. Now, look, here's the thing. It's not enough to join the NRA, but it is a thing that we must do. But we can't stop there. Each of us has to be willing to do more than that. Drive across the state or go and do or make a call or send an email or do something. And I would love it if people would just say, I'm going to do one thing, even if it's just a small thing, one thing each week. I'm going to contact my legislator or my senator or whomever. Once a week, I'm going to do a thing. I'm going to take 5 minutes and do it. That would be kind of cool. Well, look, James, I appreciate the call, and I think you're right. The defensive gun use stories are powerful, and I'm very guilty of thinking that everybody knows these stories because I get 10 of them a day come into my email.
10 good things with a gun?
Yeah. I get 10 stories of people using guns in self-defense a day. The thing is, it happens, who knows? The lowest number I could ever find in research is 300 times a day. Now, some numbers are, several thousand times a day. But the lowest number is 300 times a day people use guns to defend themselves and stop crime. So, yeah, I think it's a good idea. Let's make it a point to start sharing maybe 1 hour a defensive gun use story. We can do that.
I like it.
Cool. I like it. All right. Good idea, James. Thank you. Dustin's also called in out of Oklahoma. Hey, Dustin, thanks for calling.
Yeah, no, it's North Dakota.
What? North Dakota?
He moved since we took the information, I'm sure.
How fast are you driving, dude?
Yeah, I wish. I will gladly hand you some snow again.
No, you can keep that.
I think I've had enough. Thank you very much.
Oh, no, you have no idea. I mean, it is just, oh, good God.
Is it really? It's coming down?
Man, we're getting another 6 inches today. This is ridiculous. I got 3
Well, you know what
inches
they say
of ice
up there, winter comes early and stays late.
Normally it's been like, it's gone by now. Not this year.
Had just enough of it, have we? I think Dustin doesn't want to see any more snow.
So how do you really feel, Dustin? Don't sugarcoat it.
I don't mind it, for a couple of months a year, but, we didn't have snow up until February, and then it just won't stop.
That's right. So enough is enough already. That's right. It's time for spring, by golly.
Exactly. Enough is enough. So anyway, my thing is, Tom, you were fixated kind of on this crowd size thing, and until until our side of the universe is willing to actually go pay the rent the crowds, and a friend of mine used to work for one of these damn companies, which I thought was just absolutely hilarious. But until we're willing to do that, we're never going to win that argument. You're never going to win that visual. Half those guys are not even paid, though. What they do is they get their friends and their family on these little blast text messages. And so you'll get like the 500 paid ones, but you'll get like 5,000 that'll get this stupid text, and they get paid by the T-shirts they get that are pre-printed, and they hand those to all the paid guys. So that's who they got to pay. But it's just all the rest of the camp followers that show up, and it makes it look like there's a big old thing going on. And they hand out these pre-printed signs. There you go. But if it comes down to that, I mean, what are you going to do?
You're right. So how do we combat that?
I don't know. Get rid of Bloom Turd's money. About the only thing I can think of.
Well, he's got $40 million this week and $41 million next week, and goes on and on. 40 billion. I'm sorry, did I say million? Yeah, he made that last week. So yeah, $40 billion. Yeah, well, no kidding. We do need some billionaires, but you're right. It is a battle of optics. That's part of it. It's not all of it, but it's part of it. We have to show up. We have to show up in numbers. And you make it a great point. I mean, a lot of these crowds somebody is paying to bus people in, to fly them in, to give them meal vouchers. All these kids that are in D.C., they're all getting meal vouchers.
You don't even have to do that. Half of them just live in that D.C. metro area. A friend of mine lived in, he was living over in Virginia. All he did, he literally got a text. He drove his own self over there, or drove to somewhere where he could hop the subway, hopped up on the mall, and then he was there and got handed a T-shirt on their little meeting site, and off to the races they went.
Sure. So, yeah. Well, and look, I'm not saying that what they're doing is bad. I'm just saying that they're good at it, and we're not. Not yet.
But until we're willing to use those tactics, You know,
those are the tactics. That's the game that's being played. I mean, it would be foolish for us to say, well, they're not. You know, they're just paying people to be there. Okay, then we got to pay people to be there. Or we have to get them there another way. We have to find some way to get them there. And no, it's not the whole game, but it's part of the game. And if we're not showing up, it delegitimizes us.
So, and when you have legislators that have an IQ of an envelope, you know, I mean, all they do is they see the visual, and that's all they see.
All right, we're going to start a GoFundMe for Dustin to buy him another snowblower. That's all there is to that.
Well, just buy me a plane ticket somewhere, man.
There you go. Hey, Dustin, I appreciate the call, sir. We got to keep running here, man. I do appreciate it. All right, you too. Somebody's had enough winter.
I guess. No doubt.
It reminds me of that old story. The guy says, I've had enough of this. I'm going to take my snow shovel and start driving south till somebody asks me, what is that thing?
Then you'll know you've arrived.
That's when I know I'm there. That's right. Exactly right.
Speaking of being there, guess you hear that music? You know what that means.
That would be the music for it's time for me to stop talking, and we'll be back in like a minute or so.
Pretty close.
Maybe even less. You never know. All right. Be right back.
Whether you are a first-timer or seasoned shooter, Double Star has the guns, edged weapons, and parts you desire. Our products are made in America and held to the highest quality standards. No exceptions. Double Star and Ace Limited manufactures products people bet their lives on without hesitation. That awesome responsibility motivates the Double Star family, and it will proudly protect yours. When you're ready for the best, join our family at star15.com. That's star15.com.
Get ready for something totally new from LMT, a short personal defense weapon with an integral suppressor. Featuring new suppressor technology from Lawrence Livermore National Laboratory, the CSW, or Confined Space Weapon, has a 24-inch overall length profile and includes their new high-performance suppressor that can shoot supersonic and subsonic ammunition with no changes. Chambered for the 300 blackout, the CSW allows quick movement in tight quarters. For more, visit lmtdefense.com.
All right, now we are, in fact, back. Tom Gresham, Michelle Cleveland, Jim Kinsey. Michelle, you have a barometer for what people are saying as they're coming into a retail outlet. I worry that people, gun owners, gun buyers, are not truly plugged into this current, very different situation. I'm wondering what your sense is.
Well, they're plugged in from the aspect that they want to purchase something before they can no longer do it. But to help protect that right and make sure it stays there, that's the disconnect. Because, like you've said, everybody's busy. No one has enough money. You know, there's this whole list of items that get in the way, or we allow to be in the way, right? But I definitely think that there is I don't want to say frenzy, because that's the wrong word, but there is definitely some excitement on that side of the world with some of these different pieces coming out with laws that are wanting to be changed about defensive ammo, and you know, that's going to change the side of ammunition availabilities and sales. And, you know, they want to track everything, absolutely everything.
Well, I was going to say, it is coming from all different directions. It's coming from all directions at the same time. And it's really hard to stay up on what's going on and what they are throwing out there. And crazy stuff is being proposed, you know, ammo limits and, you know, taxes on ammo and registration of ammo and raising age limits to buy ammo. And it's like you go, oh, well, God, there's 20 bills in the legislature, and they're going to hear them over a period of 10 days. What do we do with that?
Well, and the problem is, too, that you had said before, without being, I guess, I don't know, taken seriously or seen as this being a big enough cause for the Supreme Court to take on these cases, the fear is that we're going to lose. I mean, if we don't become more vocal, if we don't become more obvious, then we will lose. We've lost.
That's a good line. I like that. We have to become more obvious. It's like, yes, these people are going to be here every time. Oh, my God, it's the gun people again. Yes, we're here. Yes, you're tired of us. Mm-hmm. Get used to it. We're going to be here every time.
Well, and I think one of the problems we face is the media doesn't necessarily want to cover us. But if we host, and this is nationwide, if you host an event and only 5 people show up, the news media will run that at 6 o'clock.
They will.
Because nobody's behind this. But it'll be a subtle thing. They won't say that there weren't very many people. They'll just pan the tiny crowd.
Well, that goes to a concern I have. We had a caller earlier says, hey, there's going to be this national day of showing up at state capitals. I'm going, really? Who's putting it together? I never heard of it.
I didn't either.
And so if we're going to hold events and nobody knows about it, all we're doing is saying we're going to show up with very few people and look very ineffective. That's a bad idea. Mm-hmm. Better to not do it at all than to do it half-ass and show up with 10 people, as you say, Michelle, and then the cameras show them, and then they flip over to the moms who have been super organized and have all the money behind them, and they're there. And look, I give them credit. They're simply doing a very good job for the thing they believe in. I mean, I think they're wrong, and I wish they weren't as effective or as good as they have gotten to be, but they are, and so we better up our game, or we're just going to be kind of on the sidelines watching it go by and go, wow, I can't believe that happened.
Well, an interesting thing happened the other day, actually, because somebody's like, well, if they take away the guns, at least I'll still have my knife. I said, will you? They had no idea that there was such an intolerance of knives across the country.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm like, you need to follow this.
I got a great idea. I don't know if anybody's ever thought of this. Why don't we ban murder and crime in general?
Wow.
That would just solve the whole thing. Oh, it doesn't work?
It's been tried.
Oh, damn. Those pesky criminals just won't catch on.
Okay, somebody sent me an email here of the national support the Second Amendment Day rally at the Capitol Saturday, April 14th, and National Constitution Coalition of Patriotic Americans. Who?
Don't know.
I mean, really? I like the idea of a coalition. I like the idea of pulling together a lot of different groups. A coalition is kind of what the Gun Rights Policy Conference is. Where you have a lot of the state groups get together and a number of the national groups get together. Unfortunately, the NRA has kind of given it lip service. They just don't like to be, if it's not there, look, I believe people ought to belong to the NRA, but there's also very much of an element of, if it's not ours, we're not going to participate thing going on there. Mm-hmm. And that's a real problem for us.
Well,
because you can't really form a coalition. If you don't have them in, it's hard to have a realistic coalition.
Well, aren't we all wanting the same thing?
Well, we'll talk about that over a drink sometime, because sometimes I wonder. Sometimes I wonder. Don't you sometimes think, are we really all pushing for the same thing here?
At least the ILA side, right?
Yeah, one would hope. But I don't know.
But even then, you've got the duck hunters not supporting the carry guys, and doesn't affect me. True. Yeah, give it a week.
Yeah, because you don't have a semi-automatic shotgun out there sitting on your blind on the lake.
Well, exactly. They say, well, it's not going to affect me. You go, wait. They are talking about banning your semi-automatic shotgun, your Benelli that you love, that Super Black Eagle that you love so much. Forget it. You can't have that.
Right.
Well, and then they say, well, they'll never do that. Really, I'd like to introduce you to my friends in Australia. Who said the same thing.
Illinois now.
Yeah,
no,
yes.
You don't have to go out of the country.
The Deerfield, that includes shotguns, by the way, yes.
Yeah.
Semi-automatics. So, yeah, it is, I think we can't get frustrated. Well, we are frustrated. But we can't get hyped on it. We just have to keep pushing it. We just have to keep talking to people, because you're going to run into, our caller who says, he's really all about gun rights and all. Are you a member of the NRA? I loved it when you asked her that, Michelle. He goes, well, no. Yeah. I just want to say, okay, what's your address? I am going to send you a slapogram. Because what are you thinking?
Well, it's if the left is reacting to get a T-shirt and or get paid, Too bad we can't have an ammo company step up and say anybody participates in this match, we'll give you a box of 9mm.
Well, we had a gun company saying, I'll give you a free NRA membership, and people wouldn't do it.
Mm-hmm. Now, is that a case of true lack of interest or just being lazy, or you get the gun, you throw away the box, you don't even read any of that stuff, you just go out to the range?
All of the above. And also, like this guy says, I don't want to be on a list. Okay, let's be really dumb. I don't want to get the mailings from the NRA.
So tell them you don't want
really,
the stuff.
It's so hard to drop them in the trash can. And to your point,
they even have an opt-out program. Actually,
yes, you can contact them and say, look, I want you to reduce the amount of stuff you're sending us. Okay, we can do that too. They'll do that. But my heavens, I get my email and I sort it by the trash can.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy. I mean, it's just not that big a deal. But you have to belong just to be counted. You know what? That's part of this whole standing up deal. Because if you're not going to stand up, you got to give up. And standing up means joining, being counted, and you'll be on a list. You'll be on a mailing list of a gun rights group.
Oh, no.
Is that a bad thing? You're either going to stand up and be counted, or you're going to hide in a corner. Because, frankly, people who say, I don't want to be on a list, you're hiding in a corner, and I got no use for you.
Well, I put everything in music terms. I have a good analogy after this break I'll give you.
All right, we'll take a quick break, and then Jim's going to sing us his analogy. I'll be back next week.
Our last after show was a great one.
The last one.
For tactical equipment for military, law enforcement, and shooting enthusiasts, look for the name Elite Survival Systems, creators of high-quality, intelligently designed products for concealed carry, discreet transport, and rigorous tactical uses. Elite Survival Systems knows there isn't just one method of carry that works for everyone. Elite offers a vast array of concealment products to fit your lifestyle, including holsters, belts, vests, pouches, slings, bags, backpacks, and cases. Find out more at EliteSurvival.com.
You got your carry permit, and that's good. But you know you could use more training. Get the DVDs, which have what you need. Springfield Armory presents Concealed Carry 1 and Concealed Carry 2 with Battle Group. Learn specific concealed carry skills from Top Gun fighting trainers. Get trained. Be prepared. This really is life and death. ShopGunTalk.com. That's ShopGunTalk.com.
And now, straight from Las Vegas, the singing Jim Kinsey.
Hang on a second. All right, here's my analogy. Do I have to say? Yeah. I'm going to speak it, spoken word version.
Okay.
All right. NRA members that are, in good standing versus NRA members that aren't. Well, I don't want to be on a list you discussed, and they're going to know about me, and I don't agree with everything they say. Why would I join them? In the music world, if you publish any music, you don't have a choice. You have to join either ASCAP or BMI. They're the two royalty companies that police basically the broadcast and use of your material and contact the publishing companies and give them their royalty checks.
You get the royalties, yeah.
Correct. So, in my opinion, neither one of them are that great. But you have to, otherwise you don't get paid. So, in that particular case, you have to make a decision of the worst of two evils to proceed. In the gun world, if you're not backing the people that are backing you, even if you don't agree with anything, you're a sponge. You're a leech.
Yeah. What was the old analogy I used to use, and I think it still applies? I said, you're sitting in the wagon, and we're having to pull the wagon. Mm-hmm. Get out. We need some help out here.
Well, and there's a false motivation. Just because you purchased it today, it becomes illegal tomorrow. Doesn't mean they won't come take it the day after that.
Mm-hmm. Well, true enough. And people say, well, they're not going to take my gun. Well,
you know what? Who knows?
You can make the argument.
Homeland Security
will come.
We've got military, and people think Homeland Security is this tiny little thing. If you look at the territory they cover inland, people would be amazed.
Oh, yeah, Border Patrol goes way inland. Homeland Security is all over now, everywhere. And for those who are wondering, well, gee, would they ever do that? I just want you to go look at some of the video from Hurricane Katrina, when the police were going door to door and taking guns away from people. And yes, it was illegal, and yes, they did it.
Well,
because I hear people say, well, the police are good guys. They're not going to take it. Yes, the police are good guys.
But they probably gave them back.
They're going to do what they're told to do. They're going to follow their orders. That's just what they do, okay? And yeah, you may get them back, and they'll be rusted, and they'll be beat up, but you're probably not going to get them back.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Once they're gone, they're gone. And look, if we get to the point where they're going door to door and taking guns, it's over anyway.
That's right. I'm sure people have seen that very famous picture of a steamroller running over all the firearms that were collected.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. It happens. It's happened.
They'll chop them up. They'll run over them with a steamroller. They'll crush them. I mean, that's what we're trying to avoid, and we can avoid that. And the amazing part is, people say, well, I'll shoot them. Well, then you'll get dead. They're going to make you dead, okay? How about instead of doing that, just go show up now, and you'll never have to get to that point.
Well, and these rallies don't cost anything to attend.
Right.
It might cost you a day of work or gas money to get there, but
or
you could pack a lunch.
And it's on, these are on Saturdays, but you can also, go to the state legislature in the middle of the week and take a day off, take a personal day, and go, well, that's a personal day.
I guess I kind of go back to the fact of our recent school shootings. We had the horrible situation in Florida, and then we go into Maryland, where a school resource officer charged in and took out the threat. It was buried. You heard it one day, one time.
Yeah.
And it was never covered again, never discussed again. So you want to see the good that can happen with these schools that have somebody that's armed, that's willing to fight for their children? That's what can happen. But the media covers it up. They might talk about it once and it's gone.
It doesn't support their agenda.
Right. But if there's enough people out there screaming, going to your school board meetings and all that type of thing, that's your job.
But I wonder if this wasn't guns. Let's substitute something else for guns. Mm-hmm. They're coming door to door to take your TV. Would you do something now to stop that? Because you live for YouTube and Netflix and everything else. I think it would probably stir up more panic and more action from people than something that's actually a life-saving device.
It probably would.
I'm serious.
It's crazy to think about, but
because people are stupid. And Tom had a perfect example of this weekend. There's a difference between ignorance and stupidity, and Tom got to experience both.
Yeah, we have some state legislators who actually, one of them's become a kind of a YouTube celebrity with just saying an unbelievable string of stupid things. But
only when he spoke.
Only when she speaks. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So But be that, of course, we had, who was it? I can't remember. One of the congressmen who said he was afraid of Guam. They were putting so many people on Guam it was going to tip over, the island of Guam. Seriously. It was a U.S. congressman.
Oh, my God.
Stop it.
No, I know. It's on YouTube. You got to, because people would say, no, you're making that up. No, I wish I would.
You took them out of context.
Really, truly, no. And the beautiful part was the admiral who was testifying didn't just go, really? He took it seriously. Well, sir, we've actually looked at that seriously, and we can assure you that the island is not going to tip over if we put more personnel on it.
Oh, my goodness, stop it.
Oh, I know. I mean, you're going, oh, my God.
It's classic.
You just want to walk up and just say, okay, you're fired. You have to leave now. You're too stupid. You're using up oxygen here.
Do the members of cabinet get safety glasses so they don't poke their eyes out?
I like that.
You get a pair. You get a pair.
Yeah, we'll make them all wear these big oven mitts or something, so they can't hurt themselves.
Brought to you by the Second Amendment.
Keeping you safe.
It is frustrating at times, but oh my gosh.
Wow.
So anyway, having said all of that, I ran into a guy a day or two ago who said, a friend of mine just showed me, he said, I didn't realize there were AR-15s and 22, and 22 rimfire. I said, oh yeah. Mm-hmm. That's really, honestly, one of the most fun things out there. A 22 rimfire AR, it's just such a hoot to shoot.
Put a can on there.
What? I think that goes without saying. In fact, I can't even hear it.
What?
Okay. Yeah, exactly. No, yeah.
Well, they have integral ones now, right? You don't even have to buy a suppressor.
They do, but of course it is a suppressor, so you have to do the paperwork on it if it's an integral suppressor. Yeah, I know. If it's a gun that has an integral suppressor, it is treated as a silencer, so you have to do the same thing.
Harumph.
I know. Yeah, I got a 1022 that has one of those barrels, those integral barrels. I can't say integral very well.
People say integral as well. It drives me nuts.
My goodness, we've covered dolphin, integral.
By the time we're done, they're going to say, well, they were talking about what guns are used for shooting dolphins.
Oh, goodness.
When they start cutting all this up, they'll have us saying all sorts of things.
Like when Guam's going to tip over.
Yeah, it's right.
I heard it on Tom's radio show.
You got to go look at that. You do a search on YouTube. Just put in Guam. I bet it just comes up. I bet it's the first thing that comes up. It's got to be. Guam. Okay, wait. All right.
He's going to do it.
I am. I can't stand it. Okay. How do you spell YouTube?
You.
Right.
Nogun. YouTube.
Guam, okay, I put in Guam. It says Guam tipping over.
No. Stop.
I am not kidding you. Representative Hank Johnson, Democrat from Georgia. Guam will capsize and tip over into the ocean.
Oh, my God.
That was in March 25th, 2010. There it is. And he was reelected.
Okay.
There may be no hope.
So remember how they used to have, you had to be a landowner to vote and stuff?
Yeah, you had to be a landowner, or you had to actually, be able to read.
Yeah, I had a stake in the game.
Yeah, you had something. Yeah, no.
They should do that for at least maybe not to vote, but at least for running for office. If you can't,
Hey, we had a school board, and at least 3 of the members of the school board did not have high school diplomas.
Stop it.
Can't make this stuff up. Because they were good old boys, been around a long time. They got elected, and the school board in this area hands out millions of dollars in contracts. And that's how the game's played. Yeah.
Blind leading the blind.
So, there it is. And so you go, well, you can go there and you can speak, but unless you have the power to get them unelected, what do they care? And that ultimately, that is the power. I mean, we talk about showing up and all, because inherent in the whole we're going to show up thing is we will get you fired. We will unelect you. That's the reason that we show up in big numbers. It's that we can move a lot of people, and we will move them for you, or we will move them against you.
So the motivation is really job security.
The motivation is we will fire your sorry rear end. We will do what it takes to get you unelected next time.
Well, and how important are the elections coming up now?
Critical. Right now, nothing's going to happen in Congress, but it is possible that Nancy Pelosi becomes Speaker. It is possible that Chuck Schumer becomes President of the Senate.
Ugh.
When they do that, here's the thing. Then they decide what bills come up for vote.
It's stacked.
They decide who chairs all, and they put their people, and this is just the way it works, their people in charge of every committee, and the committees will never hear one of our bills, and they will hear all the other bills, and our bills will never come up, and they simply run Congress. So the 2018 midterms, I don't know if we could lose the Senate, but I do know it's possible we could lose the House. And, I, for one, would have to probably run hot pokers into my ears so I wouldn't have to hear Nancy Pelosi be the Speaker of the House.
Oh, God. Well, on the paper, it really doesn't make sense because Trump, despite the people that don't like him, Trump is doing well, and he does have a lot of support from people, and the economy's better, et cetera. And you would think that would help out Republicans in the midterms.
I would hope. And, there's always that possibility of the sneaky vote. And it may be that the other side has overplayed its hand. I've heard that theory of, we're going to show up. Well, I don't know. We don't have a Hillary to be against.
Well, and I'm sure that's not just here locally, but you keep hearing the term true conservative.
Yeah, they're advertising that a lot.
It's a true
buzzword around here.
He's a true conservative, or she's a true conservative.
They're distancing themselves from the Republican moniker. Without calling themselves libertarians.
Right. It's just kind of interesting how we talk about, your word choice.
We're more conservative. Okay.
So people need to, I guess, just pay attention and also know when you have to apply for your voters'
registration card.
Yes, thank you.
When you have to.
There's dates.
We have to get voters registered. We have to do that. Every shooting range should have a voter registration day. In fact, heck, every day ought to be that. Any type of event, there should be somebody out there checking to make sure people are registered to vote. If they're not, we must make it happen. Every shooting range should do that. Every gun store should do that. Mm-hmm. We're crazy if we don't do that.
Oh.
What did I read? Half the NRA members are not registered to vote.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
My take's always been, if you don't vote, don't bitch.
Yeah, well, some people feel like, I get to bitch no matter what. So there you go.
Well, it doesn't apply to them. They can't. Well, I won't complain about it. Okay, but it does affect your life. I mean, your head in the sand does not help.
All right. And just to make you really want to curl up in a ball and cry, the homework assignment this week is to go watch the Guam will capsize and tip over into the ocean on YouTube.
We won't even make it out of the studio tonight before we check that out. You realize?
That's right. It's a 2-minute video. You can do this. Adult beverages are recommended.
Ice water,
guys.
more than ice water.
All right, I'll be shooting guns and gear this week, and once again, let me remind people we are looking for volunteers to be the good guys on First Person Offender. Send an email to info@guntalk.com, and we're looking for couples. Could be buddies, could be husband wife. Could be
just winked at
kids.
me.
Oh, here we go. It could happen.
Nudge, nudge.
That's right. Go for it. Go for it.
Her husband's way too good of a shot. Forget that.
That'd be fun. Have somebody who's trained up like he is. That's
no doubt.
Then we really get to ramp up the scenarios. We have like ninjas, and flying monkeys.
32 guys jump out of the loft on your head.
Right.
What do you do?
Go to Guam.
Hide underneath Guam.
You're going to start doing Weight Watcher commercials from Guam. Sure, it may tip over, but not if you join now.
I think you're onto something there. Yeah, but with rehab, you can get off of it.
Yeah. With doctor's help.
That's right. All right, and with that, we were done about 30 minutes ago. We just didn't know where to stop.
When you said hi, welcome to the after show, it's pretty much done.
It's pretty much over, exactly. All right, guys, see you next week.
Stay safe.
Take care.
Well, that wraps up another Gun Talk After Show. But if you want even more gun-related stuff, don't forget to check out Gun Dealio. It's the app for Apple and Android phones that connects you to all the Gun Talk shows, plus even more. And we'll catch you next time for the Gun Talk After Show.